Hey, how are you? Up here in Vancouver, British Columbia, on a beautiful cloudy summer's day in July 5th actually. And yeah, it's a bit grey and overcast today in our beautiful city, but nonetheless still in a beautiful city. And it's coming to you live. I want to talk to you today and share with you about the power of questions. I'm here. Wasn't pretending I wasn't around. I am here. The power of questions. I personally, this is my belief, I believe that a great question is probably more useful than 1,000 good answers. Taking a look at why, hey Kevin, taking a look at why of that for a minute. I want to ask you, what do you think is the most difficult question you've ever been asked? What was the most challenging question you've ever been asked? What is the question that put you into turmoil more than any other question? See, I don't think your life is changed by answers as it is about the things that make you question. Whether you're questioning yourself or whether you're questioning something about what you believe. But it is the power of the question that shifts our reality. We like to think that we know things. We like to think that we understand the way things are. And we hold these veils, these concepts of who we are as if they were absolute and dynamic truths. And until somebody comes along and asks us a question, until somebody steps up and asks us something that makes us stop and, whoa, what if I'm wrong? You see, a great question provokes other questions. It doesn't just provoke answers, it provokes deeper questions within yourself. It's that moment of stopping and grasping that you've been living inside of a bubble, inside of a framework, inside of these blinkers that say, oh, this is not reality, that there's something more, there could be something even greater than this. What is it? That's the moment when everything in your life is about to shift. When you get that great question, when somebody offers you that insight that you'd never had before, that can only come through a question. So again, I ask you, what is the most powerful question? What is the most insightful question you've been given? What's the one that's sort of catalyzed so much? I was sitting with a client actually this morning, and he said to me, he said, these questions you've asked me have made me feel so stupid. And I said, really? That was certainly not my intention. Tell me why you would think you're stupid with these questions. And he said, because I'm 50 years old and I don't know the answers. And these are not questions about the answer to physics or the questions about other things. These are questions about who he is as a human being, who he is about his life. And all too often we don't actually know the answers to the questions about our own life. All too often we're missing the very essence of who we are. We don't ask the questions because we presume so much. You see, here's the thing. If you and I walk down the street today and we walk probably 4 blocks and we stop everybody who crosses our path and we ask them this question: are you somebody who has free will? What do you think people were going to say? I mean, let's presume that you live in a first world free country as you're watching this, a country where you're allowed to make decisions. And we ask people, are you a free thinking individual? Do you actually believe that you have choices? What do you think most people will say? The answer, of course, is yes. They'll say, yes, of course, I'm a free-thinking individual. I can make my own choices. I can choose for myself. I can decide for myself. Great. Then the next question would be to them, do you? Do you actually choose for yourself? Do you make your own choices? Are you that person? And I think most of them would say, yes, of course. I make my own choices. It's my life. I get to choose. I get to do what I want to do. Really. Then my next question would be this. How do you know? How do you know that you're free? How do you know that you actually choose? And most people would say, well, you know, they'd give me some example. They'd say, well, you know, I went for lunch today and I chose to have the burrito, or I chose to have the taco, or I chose to have fish and chips, or I chose to have a salad, or, you know, whatever it was. Is that a choice? Is that really a choice? So then I go, okay, so now tell me this. Tell me why you chose the taco, the burrito, the salad, the whatever it was. Why did you choose that thing? I don't know, I kind of wanted it. No, but why did you choose that? Why didn't you choose dog? Well, that's disgusting. I wouldn't eat dog. Why not? Well, it's wrong. Why? Why is it wrong? I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just asking, why is eating dog wrong? And then that person would tell me some moral idea of why they believe that eating dog is wrong, right? We all have these ideas. And so what I'm trying to have you grasp here for a moment is that right and wrong are nothing more than conditioning. There's this moral stand we have around being right or being wrong or being a good person or being something. And then we base all our choices based on this social and moral conditioning about who we are and about what is right and wrong. Based on who we are. So who we are is based on right and wrong. Right and wrong is based on who we are. But it's not a choice. It's conditioning. And until you can stop and actually comprehend that many of your thoughts are actually not your own thoughts, many of your beliefs are not your own beliefs, many of your concepts about life itself are actually not even your own. They're simply reactions to what you've been conditioned to believe. So just stop for a minute and consider that your life is simply a reaction until it's not. Until it's not. Until you stop and say, well, is there another option? See, here's what I want you to grasp with this. Your life is very often in polarity. You say, Mom and Dad were poor, so I'm going to be rich. Or, Mom and Dad were poor, so money doesn't matter to me. But it's a reaction. We're in polarity. It's not actually a choice. Choosing is a vastly different thing. In order to choose, you have to comprehend that there are other options. And along with those comes responsibility. If you're in reaction to the model you were given or polarity of the model you were given, you can pass that off. Well, it's not my fault. That's just the way I was brought up. Or it's not my fault. It was the way I was brought up. I figured I'd do something else. So there's such a great lack of responsibility. But if you actually got to choose, as Kevin just pointed out, if you actually got to choose, you would have to take responsibility. And most people are not willing to do that. So that client I was telling you about that I was working with, and he said, you know, these questions you're asking me, they make me feel stupid because I feel like I should know the answers to these questions. And my response to that was, why should you know? Why should you know? And he said, well, shouldn't I know? Why should you know? If you've never been to China and you've never met somebody from China and you've never heard anybody speak Chinese, would you think that you're stupid because you don't understand or speak Mandarin? Of course not. You wouldn't think that. It'd be ridiculous. Yet we think that about the deeper questions of our lives. We think that we should know the answers to so many things that we've never even been trained for. People actually think they should know how to be good at relationship. And yet, in truth, if you actually take a look at it, how many people do you know who even understand what a good relationship is? Because a good relationship is not one that just makes you feel good all the time. There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more depth to it than that. I was sitting on the grass outside the University of WA, Western Australia, sitting there chatting with Parthasarathy, who was my teacher. And he says to me, "Who are you?" And now, you should know that I had known him for a while by then. He says, "Who are you?" I said, "What do you mean, who am I? You know who I am." He goes, "No, who are you?" I said, "I'm Dov." He goes, "No, that's your name. Who are you?" Oh, okay. We're getting a little deeper, a little more philosophical. I said, "I'm a man?" He goes, "No, that's your gender. Who are you?" "I'm a business person?" "No, that's what you do to make money." "Who are you?" "State of religion?" "No, that's the religion you were born into or chose." "Okay. Who are you?" "I'm a good person." "No, that's a moral judgment." "Who are you?" I didn't know the answer. 23 years old, sitting on the grass, in the sunshine, on the knoll at the University of Western Australia, surrounded by knowledge, surrounded by academia, surrounded by all the things around learning, and I didn't know the answer to who I was. I certainly could answer who I thought I was, but that's not the same as who I was. Later on, and when I said that, like several sessions later, him and I getting together, I answered some more answers, and those answers were actually my accolades. They were ways that I'd recognized myself or been recognized in the world. And this sort of went on for quite some time, with him asking me who I was and me really not having a freaking clue. Until one day he said to me, "Who are you without your accolades? Who are you without your name? Who are you without all of those things that you so hold on to? Who actually are you without all of those things?" That's the question. And that was the question that was the biggest struggle, because until I was able to let go of that understanding of who I was, I didn't know who I was. It's a challenge to actually know who you are. But when you find out, it may surprise you immensely that you are not your name, you're not your title, you're not your accolades or your gender or any of those things. And to know the answer, you'll have to look deeper. You have to look at what really matters to you that was not given to you. Meaning, what matters to you that nobody told you should matter. What matters to you that wasn't conditioned or you were told was the thing that should matter. What matters to you at a deeper level? Why do you do what you do? Why do you claim what you claim? Why do you say what is this about you? There's a payoff for all things, including the things that you claim are yours, including the things that you say you are. You're not one-dimensional. We live in a world where we are trained, we are conditioned to hold on to this single identity like it's a precious jewel of like, oh, this is what I am. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a healer, I'm a whatever it is, I'm a writer, I'm a plumber, I'm a whatever it is. That's not who you are. It's a facet of this amazing gem that you are. And if you hold that gem up to the light and you look at it, you'll see all the multiple facets of it glistening in the sunlight, radiating its beauty out into the world, not as a single facet, but as a multifaceted thing. That's you. There are many, many facets to who you are. And least of all is your name. The why that's underneath it is what's driving who you are now. When I say now, I mean in this moment. Who you are in this moment may not be who you are in the next. So don't get too attached to who you think you are, but instead stay really curious about who you are in any given moment so that you can become whoever you need to be in the next moment without feeling like you have to morph and like you have to become some kind of chameleon, but rather that you express, you elicit some other part of yourself that has been sitting underneath. You are an amazing being with so many facets to you. Dig into those and you'll find not only who you are, but why you are. Till next time, Dov Baron, FullMontyLeadership.com. Hope this has been valuable to you. If it has, please feel free to share it with anybody else you think it will add value to. Always happy to serve. There's something in it for me. As always, Dov Baron, Full Monty Leadership. Stay curious about who you really are underneath all the labels. Stay curious, my friends. Stay curious.